What up, everybody? It is Wednesday, June the 15th. It's time for the Wire Sports Podcast. Richie back and looking beautiful. We're going to talk about the NBA Finals, of course. And guess what? Classic Wire. We're going to do a GOAT conversation, that and much more. The Wire starts right now.
Right now.
I'm going in, it's first and 10. I'm a legend boy, a champion. They can't match the flows, the X's and O's. I'm breaking the code, devastation about to unfold. They calling me Derek by the way I roll. Bet you never ever seen a pro this cold. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. I mix with I am Mike and the great Ali. I'm a running back, believe me, baby. I fathered the game, call me Daddy Brady. I'm like that, try be like this. Sammy Sosa, that boy don't miss. It's the return of the greatest. Any way you name it, I'm everybody's favorite. I'm bringing the pain and bringing the fire. Hey, stay tuned, it's going down to the wire.
Welcome back, fellas, and most importantly, welcome back, Richie. We didn't talk about on air what you had going on, but we did mention that people could be thinking about you because you weren't feeling so good. Glad to see you back and looking good.
Yeah, COVID, man. You could have said COVID to everybody, but that's okay. That was my business. It was COVID. You know, I was bound to get it. I got it in 2020. I got it in 2022. So I'll probably get it in 2024 at this rate.
Man, I hope that's not how that goes.
Well, yeah, I hope that's not how it goes either. But I'm just, if it happens, it happens. What happened was my kid got it. And then when one family unit gets it and you don't realize it, you're all going to get it. We tested on Sunday and she was fine. And then on Thursday, because that weekend she was throwing up. So we were concerned that she had COVID. And she tests negative. And then on Thursday, they both test positive. So then I'm like, So I test negative on Thursday. I test negative on Friday. And then Saturday morning, I'm already dead. I can't eat. I can't taste anything. And it was just at that point, it was just for show. And I finally tested positive. So I was sitting on my couch for about 2.5 weeks. It was lost 5 pounds, gained it back real quick. Had some tiramisu cakes. I was ready to go. I could taste them.
Cakes.
Once I could taste them, man. I couldn't taste anything. So I was like, tiramisu, let's go.
I think I just gained 5 pounds hearing about the cake.
Just hearing that? Yeah, for sure. It was an expensive little treat for us.
I'm not gonna lie, I had some tiramisu cheesecake at the Cinnabar here in Palace Station. We was watching the new Maverick, and they serve you dinner, and I got dessert.
That sounds insane. Cheesecake and tiramisu are the only. I'm not a sweets person. Those are the only things I like. I keep together.
If it didn't cost $12, I would have got a second one.
Sahe, how you been, man?
I've been good. I'm actually thinking I've never had tiramisus.
Oh,
well, you gotta try. Get it with an espresso or a cappuccino, man. It's delicious.
Like a mocha frappe.
People,
that's a little wider, but you could do that if you want.
All right. Well, yes, folks, it is The Wire. We're just catching up. It's been a couple of weeks. So let's dive on in, guys. It's the NBA Finals. It has been crazy. As you guys know, and we only really point this out during the playoff season, but we do record on Monday, so you're getting this 2 days after. Game 5 is happening as we're recording currently. So we'll try to throw some updates in if they're valid. But guys, let's go over the finals as they are at the end of Game 4. It was tied 2-2 going into Game 5 that's happening right now. As we normally do, and we'll start off with Richie. What are your overall thoughts on this series so far?
Ooh, okay. I'll try to be a little succinct here because I want everyone to have their opportunity. I'll try to just be quick. Here's what I'll say. Steph Curry's balling. I mean, that's the easy one. It's the low-hanging fruit, but Steph Curry is playing phenomenally, and the Warriors in general are not. Draymond Green is playing terrible. I'll let the guys elaborate on a lot of these points, but when the Warriors aren't playing great, except for Steph Curry, and you're 2-2, and honestly could have won Game 1, if you're a Warriors fan, you're feeling pretty good, right? From the Boston perspective, and as the Warriors hater on the panel here, if you're a Boston fan, you're okay with it too, though, because Jason Tatum hasn't been playing great basketball. it's been the Jaylen Brown show for the most part. Jason Tatum has a worse field goal percentage than Steph Curry is averaging in points per game currently in the NBA Finals. So that's not what we expected out of Jason Tatum. He's been balling all the playoffs, but even though he hasn't had the hot hand, he's been playing facilitator. So both of these teams, are very similarly matched. I think obviously if Golden State shoots a little better than they have been, and anybody besides Curry, Wiggins kind of came in on game 4, can help them out, the Warriors clearly have an advantage. But Boston's defense and their energy and their tenacity has just been a lot for Golden State. They've been playing a lot of drop defense and letting Curry score because, how do I want to say this? It's how I feel about LeBron too. It's like, the guy's going to score. So you don't want to just keep doubling and tripling the guy because then everyone else is open and you're giving them opportunities to score and them to feel that rhythm and feel like they're going to make an impact. Whereas, Steph has been making circus shots and some of the craziest stuff I've ever seen. So overall, this has been a super contested NBA Finals. Both of these teams could easily win. I think it would be absurd in all seriousness for anyone to be like, this team's got it in the bag. I'm waiting for our buddy Sahe here to say this guy got it in the bag. But, as a Warriors hater, I still got to say, boo Warriors, and I hope they lose. But nonetheless, this has been amazing finals. I've loved it. I've never seen Steph really play at this level. And I'm so much loving the fact that, when Katie was on the team, they were saying Steph couldn't handle it and he can't carry a team. Well, he carrying some heavy sandbags right now. I mean, he's been carrying these guys. And it's been a fun finals to watch. I'm going to let the guys, say whatever they want to do. But I've loved this. This has been a super close contest. Quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. This has been like drama. The whole games have been awesome. And this is what I want to see year in and year out. Really close quality teams.
Well, one thing is for sure, that man in the background, Sahe, cannot influence the championship. The Buccaneers are not going to win.
Or can he? Maybe Tom Brady says something inspirational to one of the teams. You don't know. He's the greatest leader in sports.
Don't give this man any ideas.
I'm not going to say anything because there's no Tom Brady slander, but you need to stop.
I was going to say, he's not winning the NBA championship. That's what you mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. I was just making sure.
I was getting ready.
Just making sure. But you never know. It could be the time that Tom Brady comes out at halftime and the Boston Celtics wins the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
He did it for
he's
the
from
Patriots.
Boston. That's right.
Right. He did it for the Patriots. So maybe, you know what I'm saying? He could run. He could probably be an effective point guard, I feel like.
Tom Brady?
Yeah.
He's pretty good at golf.
What?
Anyway.
He's like 6'4". He can run the plays. He'll probably be like,
all he's got to do is chuck it down the court. Just
yeah, he'll be out there like LeBron making dishes.
That boom.
Spot up shooter.
56-foot bomb. Boom. Alley-oop.
Oh
Let's go.
I was just about to say he'd probably go up for a oop.
Nobody.
Wait,
Tom Brady has nobody.
Yeah.
He can't jump over
down the baseline. Have Tom Brady driving down. Yeah.
You can't have him look at. It's Tom Brady. First of all, there's no Tom Brady slander. That's slanderous because he would. I don't even know if he would get hung, but it looked bad. We're not out here trying to. The brand would not look bad. You gonna try to make the brand look bad?
Nah,
he out here making fun.
When he dunking, or is he just gonna dunk?
Nah, he can't.
Nah,
he out here making fun of Peyton Manning.
Oh.
He's skying. I'm talking about ankles on his ass, ball back here. You know what I'm saying? And then swing to the other side and swing back.
Well, we got
just a nasty.
We got an audience point at least. Let us know if you think Tom Brady should give the NBA a shot. Sahe, what about this? The finals without Tom Brady. So the Celtics Warriors 2-2. What do you make of the full picture?
Without Tom Brady, right? It's a lot more competitive. It's a little bit more competitive than what I originally gave the Celtics. But in my defense, I will say that I said the Warriors would give them 2. I didn't think they give them 2 in the first 4. I was thinking maybe, you know what I'm saying, it'd be 3-1, you know what I'm saying, going into game 5, and the Celtics pull one out. But like Richie said, this is a series where you can't say a team has it in the bag, and that is completely wrong, because the Warriors still got it in the bag. They about to win the next 2. They don't. The Celtics, they done gave all they had to give, and you can see it out on the court. It's not Jason Tatum can't do this for too long. And the Warriors as a team is played pretty much as bad as they can play. So they're starting to cook on all cylinders, and I wanted to go to 7 games just for the entertainment factor, you know. But I think this is a 6-game series. And we're going to see the Warriors taking it. But kudos to the Celtics, you know what I'm saying? Made it this far, gave everybody entertainment, and they're bringing eyes back to the sport of basketball. So that's what you want to see. 2 young teams. It's finally a finals without they weren't in the finals last year, the Lakers, but another year without LeBron in the finals. So we're starting to see new stars and new storylines, and it's great.
He gave him kudos.
2 thumbs up.
Good job, guys. Trey, what do you make of the finals as a whole going into Game 5? And of course, just a reminder, folks, we are recording during Game 5.
My take on it is it's going to be a 7-game series, and it's going to be. I mean, they each know what they do, and they're not really making any changes. They're just running their sets. Whoever runs their sets more clean defensively, offensively, is running it more clean. Who's more staying at home, sound defense. Whoever's being more efficient on offense. Whoever's grabbing the most offensive rebounds is who's going to win. Sometimes the Celtics wake up and they realize that they can just outmuscle the Warriors, and they do that. I don't think Jason Tatum's had some good games, but he hasn't had one of those breakout superstar games or anything like that, which he's definitely capable of doing. Steph Curry has had some very good quarters. Steph Curry also has very bad quarters, which is kind of confusing, because I think the game where he had 43, he had like 19 in the first half. Most of it came in the second quarter, and then he had a really good third quarter, and he hit 5 free throws at the end of within like the last 43 seconds, gave him 43. But in the midst of that game, Jordan Poole was clutch. Klay Thompson, I think Klay Thompson was extremely clutch in the fourth quarter, and what's his name? I can't think of it.
Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins is playing some extremely good defense for what he did. He's not being asked to be a star. He's asked to be Jason Tatum, and he's doing a really good job making it difficult for him. So I think this is still going to go 7. I think Jason Tatum is going to have a breakout game. I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are going to go crazy one game, and that tandem can take him to 7. So really good playoffs, though. Really good, really exciting to see.
All I'm going to say as a salty Bucks picker before the playoffs started is if Chris Middleton wasn't injured, they would have steamrolled Golden State. They took the Celtics to 7 without Chris Middleton. And the Golden State, it's kind of like neck and neck. And I agree, Golden State's not playing 100%. Draymond Green doesn't even belong on the court right now. Like, it's embarrassing. He shouldn't be on the court at this point. And I don't think it's going to get better. But if Milwaukee never had Middleton out, man, they would have steamrolled this. This wouldn't even be the conversation we're having. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to this. Even as a hater of the Warriors, you gotta love seeing what's happening right now. And Steph Curry finally getting that opportunity to be the superstar, and honestly, the Hall of Famer that he is. It's been really cool to watch.
I will say, to that point, to Middleton being hurt, we have to stop making that a reason for people getting past other people, because it's a part of the game. They do that to Steph Curry when they had that run where they had all the starting point guards got hurt or something like that. That's not the opposing team's fault. So we got to stop using that. I understand that Chris Middleton got hurt. They are better with Chris Middleton because he's their closer, but he did get hurt, and they still had to play that game. So it doesn't really matter.
I mean, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, is there anyone that would argue that the Warriors would not have beaten Toronto if Clay and Kevin weren't hurt? You know, I know what you're saying.
Are we going to say that the Warriors would have won when Kevin Love and Kyrie got hurt versus LeBron? With LeBron?
For sure. No way. There's no way they won 2015. I agree with you. And I agree with you that injuries are part of it. I'm just pointing out that Milwaukee would have just steamrolled through them. That's all I'm saying. But it didn't happen. And that's all that matters is it didn't happen. Not that it did happen or could have happened. It didn't happen.
Yeah.
Boy didn't show up. He got injured.
I feel like the Celtics and the Bucks and like the Heat and all the teams in the East, they're built to beat each other. You know what I'm saying? They're built to go to 7 games and beat each other. The Warriors, they built different. They built to beat everybody. They went 70-something and 3 one year. They was beating everybody.
73-9.
73-9.
And then they lost to LeBron after being up 3-1.
The Milwaukee Bucks wouldn't have had a chance either. They wouldn't have had a chance either. They just they laxed off too much. They had a lot going on. That was one crazy series. You're not supposed to win down 3-1, but nobody's beating the Warriors, especially after Clay come back.
Hey, I'll say
Middleton. I will say this with Middleton changes the dynamic of Milwaukee because if Middleton is there scoring and closing out games, the point guard, God, Lee, I'm having a hard day today.
Marcus Smart.
Not Marcus Smart for the Bucks. Drew Holiday is way more efficient when I was about to call him Michael Redd when he's on
Michael Redd. That was like 10 years ago.
I was about to say Michael Redd. When he's on the floor, he's a lot more efficient because he doesn't have to force up those shots, and he takes a lot less shots. So I do think it would have been way more of a challenge for the Boston Celtics to beat the Bucks if they would have had
Chris Middleton, but they didn't have him, so we have to just let it go.
Yeah, but I'm salty. Remember, that was what I prefaced, salty at the beginning. That's why I'm not letting it go right now. Because they were my pick. And I strongly believe if that mofo didn't get injured, they would have easily won. But it is what it is. And we have one of the best finals I've seen in a long time. One of the most competitive finals I've seen. It's been so great. I loved it.
Back together. It makes me so
even as a Warriors hater. Although I'd rather see them lose 4-0 and get swept, but that's okay.
I'm surprised to hear all of these nice words about Steph Curry. But anyway.
I love basketball, man. It supersedes my hatred for a team.
Yeah, fair enough. I love it. All right. Now what we do is we're going to break down each side and what they need to do to take it all the way. Let's start with the Celtics. We can do reverse order, but the order got jumbled. I think we start with Trey and go to Sahe and then Richie. So, Trey, what do the Celtics need to do to make this a championship? Now, we've had this question for a couple of weeks, but as you know, every week it changes.
I think that they need to stay true to who they are. They need to dominate the boards like they can. I think that Marcus Smart needs to be playing up on Steph Curry and stop playing that drop coverage. They need to start fighting over screens. I think if you can be physical with Steph Curry, although he did get bigger, then you could make him less efficient, which will put more pressure on the other guys. And that gives them a fighting chance, especially if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum get to going. But they're going to need to play their brand of defense, and they're going to have to be bigger, meaner, and stronger than the Warriors, especially on the boards.
Sahe, what about you, man? What do you think Boston needs to do to turn this tied series into a championship?
Yeah, what do they need to do? I mean, I could sum this up pretty much in one word. All right, prayer. That's it. Pray to whoever y'all believe in. All right. Cause it's hands up, go to church and tithe. Give your testimony. Get some people behind you. You know what I'm saying? Get the fans in Boston behind you. I don't know. They need there's so many ways that they can go. To possibly a voodoo lady in the New Orleans Bayou. Something. They need something supernatural to have a chance.
Wow. Okay. Richie, do you agree? Does Boston need to go down to the Bayou and good old Nolans to get this done, or what do you think?
I mean, I'm not going to disagree. I'm not going to say why not hex the Warriors and Steph Curry and things of that nature. You know, the boy's got a bum ankle. One could easily argue that some hoodoo or some voodoo might work. What I think they need to do, honestly, I'm going to go along the lines of what Trey was saying. I really think they need to use their size. They're a stout defense. And the thing the Warriors are is they are third quarter monsters. I mean, they are notorious for, it's like third quarter Warriors play. And they blow people out in the second half. And then usually they never come back. And the story of these 4 games has been the Warriors have outscored the Celtics by 62 points in the last 4 games in the third quarter. But in the fourth quarter, the Celtics have outscored 80 points. So the fourth quarter has been the Celtics. So what they really honestly need is a good game from Jaylen Brown and Tatum collectively, because Jaylen's been playing better than Tatum as a whole. And then the boards. That's what's frustrating me right now, is Draymond Green is playing terribly. Kevon Looney is their rebounding guy, but they don't put Draymond and Looney together because they're too stagnant and they're too slow. And Boston is too fast. So that it's a really bad matchup. So game 4, Kerr did the unthinkable and he benched Draymond in the fourth quarter, and that's where they succeeded. That's when they started flowing. And so it's smart of him, and honestly, their fans have been begging for that to happen, and it took 4 games for it to happen because of Draymond's play. They wanted to give him a chance to work it out, but it's clearly been a problem. So this is really disappointing for Boston because right now Draymond's playing terribly. Looney's not getting the minutes he should be getting. So you should be dominating the boards. But then Andrew Wiggins pulls up 16 rebounds in game 4. You let Andrew Wiggins do that. He's been playing great defense against Tatum, like Trey said. So this is where you gotta punch him in the mouth. This is insane to me. They're younger. They can out hustle the Warriors, and they're showing it. But what they're not doing is converting. Jaylen Brown's been carrying them for the most part in the fourth quarter, and Tatum needs to step it up. Tatum is the superstar. Not that Brown's not amazing, but he's got to play better. He's got to play better. They need to. I totally agree with the drop thing. Smart needs to press up on him more. I understand that they want to let everyone else beat them, but at the same time, you got to make it. If you give him an open shot, of course he's going to score. He's the greatest shooter of all time in the NBA, at least as of present 2022. So you can't give him these open shots. Start rebounding more effectively. Box him out. You're bigger, you're faster, you're younger. And that's why this is a 2-2. They're not playing with that tenacity. They're not playing consistently with that tenacity, and they're letting things slip. So if they don't do something about the rebounding and they just let Steph Curry score 36 points per game, they will lose this series. So they got to play their defense that they're capable of. They got to fight those screens and they got to rebound. And if they do those things, I think Boston wins this for sure because they're the younger team. And I feel it'll go 7 games. And that's where that energy and that tired part from the Warriors should help Boston. But if they don't play defense and they don't actually get rebounds, none of this matters.
Trey, what do you think about Golden State? What do they need to do to take this all the way? And you are on mute.
Thank you. They need to continue to play that motion basketball that they play where Steph and Clay are running around. And I think offensively, they just need to do what they do as far as just like moving the ball around because it seems to find the shot, the layup, everybody's cutting. It's a beautiful brand. It's like a pure form of basketball. It's amazing to watch. But more than offensively, defensively, they need to swarm like they usually do. They like to play in this zone, and they get active with the zone, kind of like Syracuse does. And they need to be disruptive. They get their hands on loose balls. They rally for rebounds. That's how they were able to out-rebound Memphis, and they were able to out-rebound what was it, Phoenix? Able to out-rebound Phoenix because of this attention to the ball as soon as it goes up. If they can do that, then and the Boston Celtics are someone that they can bother offensively. So if they could just do that, I think that they'll be fine. And the Warriors have a tendency to get lax when they get up. That's how Boston was able to come back in game 1. They just need to stay focused and stay consistent. Clay hasn't really had a great series. He's due for a game or two. Andrew Wiggins hasn't had a great offensive series. He's due for a game. So it just looks really bad for the Celtics right now because they've been doing all of this with Steph carrying majority of the load.
Absolutely. Sorry about that. And Sahe, what do you think the Golden State Warriors need to do to solidify this? They also need to go down and counter the battle in the battle for the Bayou, maybe?
No. Even if Boston were to stoop so low to do something like that, something despicable as that, it wouldn't even matter. The Warriors got this in the bag. What they need to start doing right now is calling party planners, event planners, getting a celebration going. Get an early start on that. That's pretty much what they need to start doing. That's it. I mean, they're going to play Warriors basketball, and that's shoot threes, play D. You know what I'm saying? That's why they got Draymond in the start lineup. He's that defensive anchor. As long as he's not getting in foul trouble, he's not bickering back and forth with the refs. That's one thing I noticed in Game 4 that was really surprising. I think Game 4, Steve Kerr got a technical foul as a coach. Every time they would call something on the Warriors, the players, they just turn and walk the other way. All right, you got it. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't talking with the refs or nothing because the officiating had been a big deal in the media, and especially after Game 3. So I think they did a good job by just letting the refs ref. If there's a problem with a call, Steve Kerr is going to be the guy that goes to bat for him. And I think that's something they talked about and really harped on, and it showed, especially in Game 4. So as long as they can keep their emotions in check, I think they got the finals in check.
All right. And Richie, to close us off for the half here, what do you think Golden State needs to do to turn this into a championship?
They need to win Game 5. If they win, Clay hasn't been playing great. None of them have been playing great. Everyone's already talked about it. Clay always has a good Game 6. It's just, I don't know what it is. That's Klay Thompson. Klay Thompson, Game 6, YouTube it, guys. That's what happens. That's what he does. So they win Game 5. Clay's going to get his Game 6 game. They win the series. It's that simple. If this goes to 7, I feel like the Warriors will struggle. I think mentally they'll just be done. So they need this game. This is like the most must win for them. If they get this game, I completely concur. Warriors got the championship because I really feel like Clay always comes big when it's Game 6. So if they can get this game and win home, they have home court advantage. It's 2-2, but it's home court advantage. If they get this game, I think it's money in the bag. Clay's going to dominate Game 6 and it's over. So to me, that's the focal point. Nothing else needs to be belabored. We've already talked about how they haven't been shooting well. We can't change, like discuss how they can. No, they're not shooting well. It's that simple. None of them have been shooting well. Jordan Poole's been their only kind of decent guy in terms of like shooting besides Steph. You know, Wiggins scores when you want him to score 17, like he scores 17. If you want more, he still scores 17. That's what he does. He averages 17 points a game. That dude, like once in a while has a big game, but what he's been is what Trey said. He's been a defensive anchor for them, and he has been absolutely clamping Jason Tatum. He's been underrated in this series because it's not all about scoring and points. And that's what Wiggins brings to this team, is that consistent, hard-nosed defense and 17 points per game. So he's doing his job. Klay needs to step up. Klay is the next best player on this team, and that fool hasn't had a great game yet. So now in game 4, he had some clutch shots in the fourth quarter, and they were nice. It was nice to see, but he needs a whole game. Not this like, okay, cool, he got 12 points in the fourth and he had like 18 overall. Klay Thompson, people were talking about Klay Thompson like, he's a potential Hall of Famer, etc. And, he hasn't been playing well right now. Now, this is off of his injuries, etc. But this Klay Thompson is not the Klay Thompson of old. And he needs to give them, at least for one game, give them that Klay so they can overcome what's going on right now. And if he gives them that game, it's over. Warriors got it. So if they're them, win game 5, take your game 6, and they'll win. But to me, this is a must win for them. They got to win game 5, or I think they're just going to lose the series.
One real quick, Justin. One thing we didn't talk about we talked about the Boston Celtics. I think what's his name? Robert Griffin. His name's not Robert Griffin. Griffin.
No, Robert White.
No, with the dreads. What's his name? Griffin III?
RG3?
No, it's not RG3. It's Williams III. Sorry, Williams. Williams III.
Yes,
Sorry, Williams III. I know. I'm having a tough time with names today, but Williams III. When he's healthy and he's playing like he's okay and his knee's not bothering him,
yeah,
he is a defensive stalwart. He swatched shit around here. It is a block party and everybody is invited. If
he's called the Time Lord, Robert Williams.
I'm just saying, if he's healthy, he pinned Jordan Poole's layup on the backboard, something so nasty with both hands. He had a game where he had like 5 blocks. If he can maneuver with that knee, then I think, and like we were talking about them being bigger and stronger than the Warriors, if he can actually move around, then they're going to have a long night.
All right. Well, folks, of course, you know the answer to whether or not Game 5 was in favor of the Warriors or the Celtics. But we do want to know what you think about what we've just said, the questions that I asked, and the series as a whole. Let us know in the comments, in the review section below. We're going to go to a quick break to pay the bills. And when we come back, it's summer, baby. And what we do here at The Wire is we talk our favorite fun topics. And one thing around here is the GOAT. We didn't have a GOAT alert, but we are going to talk about a GOAT, and I will reveal that in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, grab a friend, say, hey, watch this. We'll be right back.
RG3 gonna play NBA now. Let's go, baby. Tom Brady. You don't need HBO.
Brady. I don't know what's going on today.
Tom Brady, RG3. Let's go.
Hey, it's Justo here from the H2G Radio Network. Have you always wanted to get involved in podcasting? Right now, we're looking to grow our H2G family. So if you want to get involved in podcasting, videography, photography, editing, or producing, contact H2G Radio at justthosebestlive@gmail.com. That's JUSTOSBEST@gmail.com. H2G Radio Network. By podcasters, for podcasters.
That's right, folks. Welcome back to The Wire here on the H2G Radio Network. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to all the shows. We got Free Mess on Fridays doing big things, True Crime for the Innocent Mind. Thank you to all the new listeners for both of those shows and the new episodes of Andrew and Justin's Acting Breakdown. I promise we have the Boss Dog Show. They did their pilot. We'll launch that soon and see what you guys think. And of course, we always love your support here on the Wire Sports Podcast. You heard the email. I've got it in the description. I'm not going to go over it again, but if you want to get involved in any way, shape, or form, let us know. Fellas, let's get into a GOAT conversation. It's summertime. We're going to have a few weeks after this finals before we have to really dive into preseason football talk. I think it's time to have some fun. We're going to get into a GOAT conversation. Nobody called this, but I was just sitting around thinking there's so many athletes and superstars that have become icons as influencers, both whether it be for the sport in their respective like field, court, or I listed them all in our group chat, but or off, socially. That they got the people that are donating, like huge philanthropists and things like that. So guys, We don't have Tony Ray, sadly, this week. So we're trying to convince the audience, and I know we have some dedicated audience members out there. Let us know who you are the most convinced by in the comments below. We're looking for influencers from the sports world, whoever wants to get us going. I might have to call on something.
Who wants to start it off?
I'll start it off.
Okay.
So
Right.
the most influential sports person, and I'm gonna make my decision now. I'm gonna say LeBron James.
Okay, LeBron James. Let's
I'm
go.
gonna say LeBron James. There could be a lot of things that we could. Robinson was an obvious choice, and I went with LeBron James because of what he's done to influence a mind switch. So instead of these, I think pre-LeBron James, a lot of athletes didn't think of themselves as corporations the way he has, or conglomerates the way he has, and he's completely shifted the game to where more players are more focused on that now than I think ever before, and he was the catalyst for that. I think just a couple weeks ago, Forbes listed him as the first active billionaire worth player. I don't know if he actually and that's different. It's a different way of thinking. He took his boys along the way. They're all successful in their own right in what they do. And he's always got something to say, but he is in complete control of the way he puts it out in most cases. I've seen a couple of things where he kind of gets in trouble every now and then, but you immediately see that stuff get squashed quick. I don't know who he's got on the payroll, but bad stuff doesn't really stick around with LeBron. I think he's gotten caught a couple of times with some other women. Like, you hear it for one day and then you don't see it again.
Yeah, what was her name? I don't remember. It's not on the internet anymore.
It's not. Gone. He was out there with what's his name for that plays for the Phoenix Suns with the dreads. When he was on the Cavs, they were out and he was having breakfast with someone who wasn't Savannah. But like I said,
I never even heard that story.
Exactly.
It was like 8 hours on the internet. That's God.
It's not the first one though. It's been a couple like that, but he get their end and they get out. Because he's very much in control of what comes out, and he's very much in control of how he wants it to come out.
Okay, I like this take, Trey. This is a different approach. I really like this take. It's cool. It's a great argument. I'll go next. So, not to correction bust Trey. He's the first American athlete because Cristiano Ronaldo was the first billionaire in 2020 who's actively playing soccer. But yes, absolutely, LeBron James and Cristiano Ronaldo are savvy businessmen and like the greatest of the greats in their respective sports, and easily one or two depending on how you feel about things. I love this LeBron James pick. I didn't think it was going to go that way, so that's why I really appreciate it, because truthfully, I was anticipating this. Michael Jordan, Muhammad Ali, and Tiger Woods. That's what I expected. And maybe Serena thrown in there. I really like the LeBron. It's a different take, and it's a different use of influence. So that's why I really like that one. So here's what I'm going to go with. I got to stick with my boy. I always talk about it. Muhammad Ali. I mean, I could go through all those guys that we talked about. Tiger Woods is amazing. Serena's amazing. Somebody could say Colin Kaepernick. I'd be like, all right, man, just, shoot your bullet points. But Muhammad Ali, what is there to say than a man who, you want to talk about in terms of influential, you want to talk about a guy who, first of all, completely changed the face of his sport. His sport was not about being braggadocious. It was not about being, celebrating blackness, so to speak. It really wasn't. It was keep quiet, keep your head down, and shut up. And that boy was like, nope, I'm going to do whatever I want. And he kind of used that professional wrestling promotion to his advantage. He understood that, right? Youngest heavyweight champion. This guy was, first of all, world class. Like all the athletes we're going to talk about, of course, in his sport. I mean, he's considered the GOAT in boxing for a reason now. And we've had that conversation whether he is or he isn't. But the point is, he's always been called the GOAT. And it supersedes his boxing skills just because of his dynamic and his influence as an individual. He was the first athlete to really get promotions, to get sponsorships, to make money outside of the sport. Now, Michael Jordan grew it, and LeBron grew it even further. But Muhammad Ali started this train. Muhammad Ali, most importantly, and this is why I view him as the most influential athlete, is he stopped doing his sport due to his religion. He said, I will not kill somebody, different skin than me. What did this guy do to me? You've been oppressing me and you want me to fight and kill somebody who's done nothing to me? Not happening. And he sat out while he was on top of the world for 3 years, struggled in poverty, quite frankly, because he didn't have any income. Now, he did Joe Frazier dirty. We don't need to get into that. But the point is this man truly stood up for his own beliefs, and he never let the system or any organization, the sport, the country, the government, anything dictate what he was or wasn't going to do. And that's why he's always been my favorite athlete, and he'll always be my favorite athlete. So for me, that's why he's the most influential to me, man. I love that. Like we talked about with Kyrie a little bit too, when we were talking about COVID. And that's what I loved about Muhammad Ali. He stood up for what he believed in, and he never let anybody sway him, and he never let anybody stop him. And not only was he an incredible athlete, but like I said, he was a groundbreaker. If it weren't for him, these other guys wouldn't have had their opportunities, and they've all been successful in their own ways. But for me, it's got to come with the guy who kind of started everything. He kind of walks so everyone else could run. And I love Muhammad Ali, so he'll always be the most influential to me.
All right. Muhammad Ali, LeBron James, some good ones. Sahe, we're going to go to you. And to everyone's surprise, I brought a take two, baby.
What?
Oh,
hey.
And then we're going to open up for rebuttal. Sahe, who is your GOAT influencer from the sports world?
Yeah, Richie, Trey, I can't disagree with you guys on those takes at all. Those guys are influential as hell. Ali was a generation before, really, and he's still talked about nowadays. LeBron James, super influential now. He's changed the way the world sees the game of basketball, the way kids do business in the sport, and very influential guys, right? But this guy that I'm naming, super special guy, super influential in the sports world.
Is he behind you?
No, I'm not talking about Tom Brady. Tom Brady, he's the greatest of all time, but he's not the greatest influential.
Sorry. I thought you were going silly. No. Okay, please.
No. This is totally serious. This guy right here, there's so many things that you could say about him, right? But I haven't even told you who this guy is, right? So you guys are like, who is this guy? This guy loved the game that he played and coached so much. He loved it so much that he literally became the game. He went from playing, he went from coaching, he went to talking about it, to literally being the game. All right? John Earl motherfucking Madden, man.
Yeah.
John Madden, one of the most influential people, and his name is gonna keep going forever. As long as that game is made, people are gonna be like, why is this game called Madden? And they're gonna look it up. Oh, it's because some, a big old fat guy. Who is this guy? This guy played in college. He got hurt, he couldn't play anymore. So he decided to coach, became such a great coach. He got his first head coaching job in 1962. He lost, I think he went like 4-6. The very next year went 9-1. All right. Then went to the NFL ranks, won an AFL championship. All right. Did all he could do. One of the winningest coaches in football history. Went on to call the game in the booth at a time in 1979. All right. I just looked up his Wikipedia. That's why I'm super factual, more than normal. But I did a little bit of studying. 1979. All right. got into the booth and coaching, the sport of football wasn't as popular, you know? John Madden worked his way up. By the time his contract was up with CBS, he went on to Fox. He was getting paid more money than any NFL player at the time. He was that big of a hot commodity in the world. They had to pay him. He was one of the highest paying commentators just because he was that good. He had to make the game simple. He wouldn't just talk about the game. He'll teach people the game. And there's millions of people watching. So millions of people are learning the game, a complex game, in a simple way. And without John Madden, the NFL wouldn't be what it is today. You know what I'm saying? And that's the number one sport in the world. Mainly John Madden. John Madden.
Both of you went way different directions than I expected. I love that one too. First of all, he was an athlete. A lot of people forget that. So Sahe, awesome. Second, all-time winningest coach, as you mentioned. And the only reason this man quit coaching is because he couldn't take having to fire the guys on his team. That's why he quit. So and the greatest play calling announcer of all time in any sport. So you got that. Greatest announcer, greatest coach in the NFL, at least winning wise. I mean, hey, Sahe, that's a great argument, man. I didn't see it coming though. I'll give you that. Did not see John Madden going to be competing with LeBron James and Muhammad Ali, but here we are. There were some great bullet points. Woo. All right, hold on. Justin.
Oh yes, I got one that you won't see coming either. As a matter of fact, I've got one that you can't see coming. You can't see.
I knew he was picking the white guy.
I am going to pick a white guy, but you know what? I've learned from my mistakes. I'm sticking to my initial feelings about this. Put it on scale. I believe John Cena is the GOAT when it comes to influencers in the sports world. Now, it has very little to do with his 17 championships that he's earned in the WWE. Great accolades. If we take this to scale, obviously we know that wrestling is a predetermined thing, but you have to be popular, you have to be athletic, you have to be good, you have to be healthy in order to get the opportunity to win championships. And the fact that he's had 17 means that he's been all of those things for a very long time. So in the sport, yes, very influential, paved the way for lots of wrestlers, gave them lots of ideas, hustle, loyalty, respect. What did he say to Kurt Angle? Pure something. Don't get my wrestling facts. But no, it comes down to one 3-digit number as to why I picked John Cena. And that 3-digit number is 650. He's
a Make-A-Wish superstar.
650 Make-A-Wishes completed to date. The man found a way to continue during the pandemic. It speaks for itself. When you are that dedicated to your fans and to people and to humanity in general, that you will spend the time it takes in your life to make 650 dying individuals have their dream come true before they pass, you're the GOAT.
That's almost 2 years of visiting Make-A-Wish.
That's insane. It's incredible. He's an amazing person. I've watched loads of documentaries about him because I did used to hate on him and think that, I'll ruthlessly.
Because you were a young Mark, Justin.
Yeah, I was a young
Mark. It's okay.
And I thought he had to be on steroids. Nobody looks like that, but that man's never taken a steroid. He's pure athletics at its finest. He's all class. He's very involved with the behind the scenes of the company, and you can't say more about the guy's humanity. 650 Make-A-Wishes completed. I'm going with John Cena.
This guy over here. Yeah, I'm going to do a rebuttal already. That was a great pick.
I'm not going to lie. That is pretty awesome.
It's awesome. I'm just doing a rebuttal for the sake of humor at this point. Because how dare you say he's the GOAT of wrestling when Ric Flair is still alive has a pacemaker, and is about to wrestle a match at 80 years old.
I don't know if I call him the GOAT of wrestling. GOAT influencer.
The gentleman right there just personified while Ric Flair is the greatest wrestler of all time. Okay. Now I will say this:
Cadillac driving.
That's a GOAT alert.
Rolex wearing.
That's a GOAT alert. I like that. Okay, go continue. Sorry.
Exactly. Limousine riding, jet flying, wheeling, dealing. Anyways, yeah. That's my rebuttal in terms of wrestling, but you cannot, I don't have a rebuttal for the Make-A-Wish. Come on. He's like the nicest human being on the planet, like you said. I mean, how do you argue his humanitarian work, which is to your point? And you can't argue it. What I like about our picks is they're just very different. Why we find them influential, and it's an interesting take. I'm curious to see what our fans will think. I'm not here to how do you argue John Madden isn't one of the most influential people of all time in the sports world, LeBron James or John Cena or Muhammad Ali? I mean, I never came into this, because usually I like to have fun with the GOAT, so I'm just going to ragtag why this person sucks. But I mean, this is a little different kind of a question. So we're not going there this time, other than how dare you say GOAT of wrestling? How dare you?
I don't know. Did I say GOAT? I didn't mean GOAT.
You said he was 7. You said first you said GOAT of wrestling. Then you said 17 championships, which Ric Flair has 25. Okay? Let's not forget that. Ric Flair.
He came back with the Ric Flair shirt. Folks, we'll put this to bed next week.
Flair. Let's go. I didn't see
second
that.
half next week. I'll give you a whole week to prepare. We're doing GOAT of wrestling, and I probably won't pick John Cena, just so you
won't pick? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, no, let's do that. I would love to do a wrestling one. Why not? Let's get.
Because I didn't mean to say. If I did say it, I didn't mean to call him the GOAT of wrestling. He's not my pick for that. But did you?
Interesting that he's not, though, because I mean, he's an easy argument that you could go with.
For sure, absolutely, yeah, he definitely.
But we also got Hulkamania, right? We got Stone Cold Steve Austin. We got The Rock as an option.
Well, just so we're
Austin Theory.
Listen,
Theory. Mankind, aka Mick Foley, aka Cactus Jack and Dude Love. Yeah.
Mark fucking Calloway.
The
Undertaker, Razor Ramon, Kevin Nash. There's a lot. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels,
Diamond
AJ
Dallas
Styles,
Page.
Diamond Dallas Page, if you're into it.
Sting,
the legend, the icon.
I was in the arena that night. That was crazy.
Yeah, no, I mean, when I was a kid, I loved wrestling. I went to WCW, WWE, WWF at that point, of course. And, it was interesting. When I was a kid, The Rock was my favorite. As I got older, I stopped becoming a mark and I started enjoying people like John Cena and JBL. Everyone else hated that. I was like, you know what? JBL is doing his job perfectly. You hate him. That's his job. He's a heel. You're supposed to hate this guy. He's saying Mexicans are awful. That's the point. You want to do this, man. He did everything he was supposed to do, and he started John Cena's launch into heavyweight championships. And watching that moment was fantastic, quite frankly. Eddie Guerrero, by the way, we also forgot another legend there. But this will be an interesting choice. It is hard to be right here because there's so many. What do you define as what makes somebody GOAT? Easily Ric Flair is an argument, John Cena is an argument, but man, we got some tough choices because, again, like you said, this is predetermined, but there's also the skill, regardless of the predetermined. There's the ring skills, there's the microphone skills, there's the storytelling, right? There's all kinds of reasons we could have that. I mean, even though Bill Goldberg is not a great wrestler, you can't tell me he didn't shake up the industry in a year and a half, even though he wasn't necessarily the most skilled. So this could be a crazy talk. I'm looking forward to it. What else we got on the menu for next week, Justin, besides the finals?
Well, I think that's going to be, we're going to pick up a couple of hot takes from the headlines.
Okay.
We're going to break down how the finals shake out. And we're going to get into the GOAT of wrestling. Did anybody else have any rebuttals on the influencer talk? Or are we good to put this to bed?
I don't think I have a rebuttal. I was going to say Michael Jordan because of how his popularity was. I don't know. Imagine if there was social media when Michael Jordan was talking. How big of a person would he be?
If it's even possibly bigger than he already is.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Sure.
That was, but I think I purposely chose a different direction than the people that we always talk about. Jackie Robinson, Hank Aaron, Muhammad Ali, of course.
Tiger Woods,
even to Jim Brown or Joe Frazier or Lawson. Like those are all during that era and what they stood for and how vocal they were against what was wrong with this country and standing toe to toe with Luther King and Malcolm X, and like that's a whole different level of influence. So I mean, I just chose to pick LeBron James because of the impact, and that was kind of before my time. I wanted to see about someone who was like actually in my time that I saw impact and shift the world the way that they did.
Sure.
What about OJ Simpson?
Hey, he did shift the world.
He can't take you nowhere. That's
The Jews.
Hey, let's never forget
a few minutes ago.
The Jews proved you can be guilty and still be innocent.
Look, if the glove don't fit, you must have quit.
Yeah,
Glove don't fit, you must have quit.
O.J. Simpson paved the way for a lot of people, like Casey Anthony.
Yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But again, if Rodney King didn't get beat up, OJ would not have gone free. So you can blame it on the police that beat up Rodney King. That's just the reality. Y'all look up the documentaries. Right. That's the truth. It was the backlash from the Rodney King beatings that led to OJ going free. So police, it's your fault. White people, it's your fault. If you're upset about the juice, it's your own fault. It's not the juice's fault, okay? I mean, it is, actually. That's kind of messed up to say. I don't know why I said that. Serena Williams, I want to give her a shout out, obviously, because she was, of course, the queen. And well worthy of one of the most influential athletes.
Most dominant athlete in
period.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I would also say Anderson Silva could be in the discussion.
Oh, get out of here!
No, versus Serena. No, Serena's in her own. Serena
not versus Serena, but I could put him in influence.
Versus Serena, he beat her up, but that's not fair. We're talking clearly.
I'm not even sure about that.
Yeah, I was about to say I don't know. She could.
Yeah, Serena's thighs are the size of my chest. Like this.
Yeah.
I mean, but I would say Anderson Silva though. He kind of he was at that time of the UFC. He was that star that really started him off.
I agree with you. He was influential.
Yeah,
influential for sure.
And now the UFC is one of the biggest sports in the world, but that might be Conor McGregor though.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, that's tricky, right? Because there's different fear. Like you have the whole true, Anderson Silva. You have someone could argue John Jones. Somebody could argue Conor McGregor, who's more of that promo guy. You could easily argue all kinds of different phases of it. There was also the Iceman, Chuck Liddell. I mean, there's so many people you could try. Brock Lesnar for a period of time, absolutely UFC 100, and he has the biggest buy rates of all time. Brock Lesnar, actually, still to this day. But anyways, yeah, I mean, UFC is a whole different beast. We've talked about it before. I remember we got somebody who loves Johnny Bone Jones down there, and somebody who's just not as big of a fan.
I like Johnny Bone Jones.
He's done too much cocaine, my friends. Come on, guys.
But I didn't pick him. I picked Amanda Nunes. Let the record show.
You can't run into 3 pregnant women and be called the GOAT. I'm sorry.
Yeah, true.
1 is okay. 2 maybe, but 3.
1 is okay.
I mean, when you're as good as John Jones is, though, fighting's got to get boring after a while. You got to have.
You got to start running.
No, you got to start doing some other shit.
If it's that boring, then stop juicing.
You're like that. Like what you're talking about sounds like the whole Deshaun Watson thing. In all seriousness, like you're just getting bored of one thing, so you just keep adding more and more to your plate. I mean, come on, man, get out of here.
I got my thoughts on that Deshaun Watson thing, man.
Oh, you do? We'll crack that open in the summer then. Let's do that.
Yeah.
We got some time to talk. I mean, there's going to be sports, but we'll, not a lot. So we'll have time to crack some.
Yeah, I was going to say, we're going to have a lull where we could easily dedicate a half or a full segment to Deshaun Watson.
Definitely.
All right.
Let us know what you think about everything that was said today in the comments below in the review section on the audio platforms. Also, let us know what you want to hear this summer. I mean, we do have basically until a few weeks before preseason before we're going to really dive into the NFL. So we'll have headlines here and there. We'll have fun conversations like this. If there's something that you've been dying to talk about or hear talked about, let us know. We want to get into it. Also, of course, the official across the board, we have LeBron James, we have Muhammad Ali, we have John Madden. What did you say his middle name was? Earl? John Earl Madden, and John Cena to choose from. You're just telling us whose argument you agreed with the most. There's no hate here. We can all say that.
No hate.
For
except for John Cena.
Yeah, well, come on.
Oh, come on. You know it's true.
You gotta hate on
Cena. You know, yeah, let's get Cena. Cena sucks.
He takes a lot of hate, but not from us. We're not gonna hate on him.
No, we're not hating on him. I'm just saying.
How could you hate him? You can't see him.
You can't see him. That's right.
You can't hate something you can't see.
Right.
That's my favorite line in wrestling, man. I love that one.
All right, folks.
So
this
good.
has been the Wire Sports Podcast. A little bit shorter, but you'll get that from time to time. Follow all the shows on H2G Radio Network. I cannot express the love that I have for everyone involved in this network enough. This is self-brew, people. This is why we do this, is for you. And this is a group of people who have put this all together out of the love of their hearts and the passion that they have for radio and broadcasting. And we got big things coming. I mean, we're 6 shows strong. We're shooting for some big numbers. I can't wait to see what's next. Check out all the stuff, and it's in the description. That's it. Stay classy, live, laugh, love, like it, you last.
Oh, he did bring it back.
That's bad.
Pain. Suffering.
Suffering.
I've been hearing that for 11 years.